Hey, if you're somebody that is struggling with not getting the goals that they're wanting, yet they're tracking their food, they're seemingly hitting the right amounts of calories that they need to, and just nothing's working, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of common things that I see that people just misstep on when tracking their food that causes them not to get the results that they want. Now, if you like this video, it does help you, please help get the word out by liking, subscribing, commenting down below where it is that you maybe notice something in your food after reviewing what I'm talking about. You're like, that's something for me. That's absolutely a mistake that I've been making, because I see it at least once a week, even with my clients. And this is actually mostly coming from somebody I was speaking to the other day about her program. Now, she's gained 50 pounds over the last 2 years. It's been a problem. And now, granted, she's had two babies back to back in the last 2 years. So I've told her, hey, you need a little bit of grace too. You said 2 train wrecks happen. So with that being said, we're going to dive into a lot of stuff here. So I hope you find this video helpful, valuable, and that I can serve. Now, looking at this, if you're looking at this real quick, you can pause the video, hurry and look and see, is there something inherently that you see? Is it something that stands out to you? Anything where you go, that could be interesting. Now, if you can't, not a big deal, but there's quite a bit in here that I can go, that doesn't make sense. There's something missing here. Let's start at the tippy top, okay? 0.88 of a large scrambled egg. What does that mean? What is 0.88? I don't know how you can quantify that. How do you know it's not 0.75? How do you know it's not 0.9? We can easily assume that it's not 1 because it's, I'm guessing, is that they just didn't eat the whole thing. There was some left over and they went, I'm going to go with that one. Okay. Another thing is that we look at, let's look at this, chips, puffs, right? Hot Cheeto puffs. Now, I've seen these puffs before. Don't like them. Don't really like cheese flavored stuff. That's not real cheese. Just preference, right? But I've seen them this big. I've seen them this big. I've seen them that big. They're all different sizes. So are these 13 big ones? Are these 13 small ones? We don't know, right? We don't really know. Next, the next one is when we're looking at just stuff on here in general, I like to see that things are spelled correctly. And if you look here, Laura Scudders, I'm assuming that's her last name, Laura Scudders. It's not capitalized. Now, why would you say that's a big deal? It's just it's not even something to worry about. Yeah, but if somebody doesn't have the time to properly put in the right information, how do we know that it's the right information if they don't have the attention to detail of even capitalizing the first name? You see what I'm saying? That's where the problem comes in for me, just in general. Not to mention the foods, not totals. We're not even looking at that because I don't want to give you a number and say, this is what you should do because I don't know you. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know where you're at. It would be very disingenuous for me to do that. But that's something that sticks out. Then the next thing, this is just in one day and I got four pictures to show you. The next thing is when we look here at juice. What is juice? Juice is fruit that has been like squeezed or blended, typically squeezed. And what's taken out of it is the fiber. What's left is typically, when we're looking at orange and mango, is sugar, right? Sugar, straight sugar. This thing has no sugar in it. So looking at this, I can't trust that 8 ounces of this juice is that much. Now, it very well could be. I could totally be wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong. But when I see that things aren't adding up, it just makes me go, that doesn't make sense. And when something doesn't make sense, it just perks up my ears and go, hey, something's wrong here. Okay, something's wrong. And why this is important, let me scooch out, and then we're going to go back into the other docs, okay? Scooching out. If you haven't seen my video already on how fat loss works, I don't know quite. I'm still getting used to this YouTube thing. I'll put it up here if I can figure out how. If anything, it'll be in the description down below. So you can click that video, watch it. I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version real quick. When it comes to losing fat, you have two things that you can do is inputs and outputs. Calories in, calories out. Calories in is food, anything you consume. So the mint I slid in my mouth earlier, calories. It's got like 5 calories to it or something. Cool. But those calories add up. So we got calories here. On the other side, we've got your outputs. This is 4 things. There is nothing else you can do. Only these 4 help you burn calories. If it's anything outside of this, it is not true. It's not going to help you. First one, basal metabolic rate. Calories burned just living life. Okay. If you lay down all day, you'd burn a certain amount of calories per day. That is the first one, basal metabolic rate. Second one, thermic effect of food, calories burned consuming food. Third one is NEAT, non-exercise active thermogenesis. I could be doing these videos sitting down on my butt all day. Or I could work and sit down all day. But over here is where I put my bag on my chair. I mostly stand up the majority of the day. Not because I want to be cool, but because I can burn more calories, and plus it's better for my back and my legs. And hey, it's better for me. So I'm going to do that. I'll take advantage of it. Third one, fourth one's fitness. Okay, so we've got these 4 things over here that burn calories, 1 thing over here that you eat, you consume. For ease of math for my itty bitty brain, let's say there's 2,000 calories you're burning over here when you add all these up, and there's 1,500 that you're eating. We can expect to a really good degree that because you're eating 1,500 and you're burning 2,000, that you're going to need 500 from fat, okay, to live life. Okay, now when you do that every single day for 7 days, that's 1 pound of fat, and then at the end of the month, it's 4 pounds off this of fat. Not necessarily off the scale. Could be more than that. Could be less than that. But you will burn 4 pounds of fat in that time frame. Okay. Okay. Now, why this is important? Why am I diving into all this stuff? Well, let's say you're off by 20%. Okay, let's say the puffs were actually, when you put them into your tracker, they were actually closer towards 200 calories. And the the scrambled eggs was, I don't know, it was a really large egg, and that was 100 calories, whatever. And Laura Scudder's peanut butter was closer towards, I don't know, 200 calories, something, right? So we're just adding these things up. Let's say you're over by 20%. So that 1,500 that you'd be eating, not in this case, obviously, I'm just giving you a general. 1,500 that you would be eating over here is now 1,800. And instead of losing 1 pound of fat in a week, you're going to lose less than half of a pound in a week. So you're going to lose at the end of the month, you'll be down barely 1.25 pounds of fat instead of 4. That's why this is important. That's why with the stuff I'm about to share with you that you need to do instead of this, that you need to do that if you want consistent results. And is it more obnoxious to put your food on a scale and weigh it? Sure it is. But you know what's worse than that is not losing weight after trying for a long time. And it's because of these little mistakes that you're making. I would much rather trade that. I don't know about you. Let's look at the next one. Let's see if we want to play nice. There we are. All right. So the next one, couple things in here. Just we'll go quickly, and then I'll dive into the things we need to. 0.17 cups. I don't know how you measure that. It's 0.17 is 8/28/50ths, which is 8.5/50ths. Actually, we'll go 8/50ths, which is divided by 2 is 4/25ths, which is not. It's really hard. How do you measure that in a cup? I don't know. So they're just guessing. Okay, they're just guessing. And when you guess on something that's like this, which is highly suspect that such a small amount of soup, sopa de fideo, is some sort of soup of some kind that doesn't have a lot of fat in it, what would have 20 grams that's so little? Like 1.75 cups is not even a quarter cup. It's so small. It'd have to be full sugar, but if this is true, there's only 2 grams of sugar. You see what I'm saying? So that's incorrect, or their food is incorrect. Whatever it is, ain't right. Plain and simple, it ain't right. Okay. I could see 0.67 cups of stuff, but again, is that smashed? Is it, depending on what thing it is it like just the squares with the little like hexagons on, or the little, little holes in it? Is this the chips? Is this the sticks? I don't freaking know. How do they determine that? I don't freaking know. 0.67, how do you know it's not 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 2/3? I don't know. Now, all these things are small, tiny details, but these details, it's kind of like when you, I don't know if you're watching this, I don't know if I can even say this on here, but I'll say it anyway. If you buy a new rifle and you try to you're like sighting it in, you want to have the target hit something 3 shots in a row. Okay. I can't get this off. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to use props on a whim here, but you want to get that target smacking something this size. Okay. With your holes hitting in something like this. Okay. Wherever you're aiming. If you're not, you want to X and Y it clicks to get where you need to go. Right. So if you fire 3 rounds, you go, it's right here. You need to go to the right and then up, right? Or to the, I guess it is your right. Okay, to the right and then up to get there. That's like you have a rifle that you're trying to zero in, but you hit like this much every time instead of this much. That's okay at 10 feet. It's really not okay at 300 feet. Because now, instead of it being this size at 300 feet, it's this size at 300 feet. You see how this can cause a problem? If you're trying to hunt an animal and you want to hit dead center and you hit all the way up here, you could miss. You could hit it to where it just injures it. And that sucks, dude. We don't want to do that. So we want it tight, which is why these things make it just really challenging. Really, really challenging. Next one is when we look through here, all I'm seeing again is 0.1 pizza. Wow. How do you know? How do you know your slice was exactly 1/10 of the pizza? Did you weigh it? Okay. And even then, this doesn't seem right. Pizza with sausage and pepperoni, that's a ton of fat and a ton of protein in there. This slice looks incredibly light. If you looked at most sausage and pepperoni pizzas, one slice is like 250, 300 calories. So in this instance, they're off by 100, almost 50%. Almost 50%. And I've seen some of them upwards of 300 calories per slice. So they could be off by a lot, right? So we don't want to have that. Again, without killing beating a dead horse. One large peach, what does that look like? What's a large to you versus me? How do you delineate between a medium large and extra large? Do you just look at it and guess? We don't know. Second thing, with even this one, just as an easy example, you see how it says 14 carbohydrates here, yet there's 15 grams of sugar. Sugar is carbs. Your carbs always have to be more than your sugars because carbohydrates is carbohydrates plus sugars. They're the same thing, but the delineation is complex carbohydrates, simple sugars create carbohydrates, the category. When you have them separate, your sugars should never be more than your carbs, ever, because it just doesn't make any sense, right? So these are some common things, really common. The next one, and I'll go over some things how to fix it. This is actually from a client today. Now, today's Thursday the 10th, okay? So whenever this video drops, I don't know if I'm doing it today or whenever. Anyway, whenever you see the video, doesn't matter. You see how here, this one is not, this one simply is just a numbers game, okay? Calories come from carbs, fats, and proteins, okay? So 300 grams of egg whites, 300, 2/3 of a pound, is only 11 grams of protein, supposedly. But when you do the math here, for every carb, you multiply it by 4, fat you multiply it by 9, and protein you multiply it by 4 to get your calories. So 14 multiplied by 4 is 56. It says 144. Why is that? Well, whoever put this in here is wrong. And it wasn't her. This is actually a green checked thing on MyFitnessPal. I've had 3 clients this week run into this problem. So this is just a simple case of just not paying attention to the label. Looking at the numbers, quick math. 44 times 4, or 14 times 2 is 28. Multiplied by 2 again is 56. This is actually, this number and this number is for 100 grams. So she's actually consuming 3 times the amount of protein than she thinks she is, which not a problem unless you eat those calories more. Now, God forbid, in this case, it's just 100 calories. But what if this was for a fatty meat like steak? And it said like you ate 200 grams of steak that typically has 14 grams of fat and 20 grams of protein. Now you're easily over consuming your calories if you still met your calorie goal by almost 200 calories, simply because you didn't double check the label. So common things, here's how to fix them. Number one, double check the math. Even if it's something that's a green check on MyFitnessPal or whatever, just do a quick little guess. Now, some of these things, they try to make it look pretty, so they're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be like even whatever. Typically, I think egg whites says 52 calories per 100. It's just the math isn't exact. It gets pretty dang close, so just keep it moving. As long as it's in the ballpark, we're good. But when it's at right here, according to this 56, and it says 144, you're not even in the dang neighborhood. You're in the middle of freaking nowhere. That's number one. Number two is do not use large slices of something that's pre-done is fine. One large egg, not really a fan of. A tenth of a pizza doesn't cut it, right? Just doesn't cut it, because I don't know what a large is. And I've seen pizzas this big, this big, this big. Which one do you consider large? We might be like the biggest one, but what if that one's actually extra large in here? That's why you just look up peach. Weigh the peach. Cut the big old seed out of the middle. Weigh the peach. That's what it is, right? Next, also, scrambled eggs. Just put the actual ingredient item, not what you cooked. Because the difference between you cooking it hard boil or scrambled, it's the same thing. They're cooked down likely to the same temperature. Just use eggs, and the weight. Boom, done. Okay. Now, if it's an egg that you have, like there is different egg sizes, AA, large, extra large, whatever. You can use those because they are measured and fit within certain criteria. Then MyFitnessPal and the USDA or whatever, ASDA, if you're Australia, whatever, they then take the average of those and you can use that. That's okay. But still, if you could weigh it, way better, way better. Next is also look at some of these things here. The sopa de fideo, again, maybe the math checks out. 80 plus 28 is 10 something plus 49. It's pretty dang close. But for that small amount, that would be insane. That means a cup of whatever soup this is insane. A cup is like 1,000 calories for a cup, and it's not very fatty. So that would be, I mean, it is at the end of it, it's going to be pretty fatty. But in that little amount, that's a lot of substance. I would almost say that the grams in here, the carbs, fats, and proteins probably outweigh the grams that you ate, which is nice to look at too. If you have like, let's say this is 20 grams, this sopa de fideo is 20 grams, and you look at the math here, and this is 20 grams of carbohydrates, 7 and 7, the grams of the stuff in it outweigh the grams of the actual food. Doesn't make any sense. You can't do that. That's like having a black pit. It's like, this thing weighs 20, I put 20 grams of something, but the weight of it on the inside's more. Doesn't really check out, right? You feel me? Let me give you another example. That's like me saying this is 1 quart or 1 liter of fluid, but this bottle can hold 1 liter of fluid because that's what it says on here, but I smash 2 gallons in it. Could I do that? No, you can't do that. It only holds 1 liter of this fluid. Unless you can magically collapse it faster, I guess make it frozen. I guess that would be the way, but likely, no, very unlikely that that's happening. Make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you found this valuable. Some easy things that I'm seeing that even people I'm running into that I'm working with, people that I'm just asking, just trying to help out with some things and finding. So if you're struggling with those things and you found this helpful, please, again, like, subscribe. If you're somebody that is interested in coaching, getting results like these guys here, faster than they ever thought with guaranteed results, pinky promise, guaranteed results. All you gotta do is click the link down below, punch in your details, set up a time, and you and I will chat and figure out what we can do to help you get those kind of results. That's it for me. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.